Hey y'all, I have been super busy the last 2 days. Petco's sale started Sunday and today is Tuesday, so I have been getting my tanks ready. I got two. You can see one of them over there in the corner. It's 10 gallons. I've been wanting another betta fish since I got Flame, so that's probably where one of those is going to go. I also got a 40-gallon breeder, which you cannot see because it's over here. I've been totally dying for Ranchu, or Ranchu. Is it Ranchu? I don't know. Anyway, for some Ranchu, and that's where they're going to go. So I just got it filled up yesterday. And I got some cycled media in the filter, and it's decorated, and it's just chilling out until I save up enough money to order my fish. The sale, I bought so much stuff. I shouldn't have. I honestly went to get the 40-gallon breeder, and I ended up with another filter and another aquarium and its filter and a hood and a glass top, and I need to stop. So anyway, I have the tank, but now I have to wait. So I have been on the Goldfish forum. I'm on there like 3 or 4 times a day checking out things and trying to help other fish keepers with, what's wrong with their fish, or, just having good conversation with fellow fish keepers. And I noticed that a lot of the new users on there tend to stumble up upon the forum when their fish is sick, or when there's a problem with their tank that they don't understand. And that's mostly what we do on there, is help others. But I noticed they say that, their fish has white spots, which is usually ick. And they'll say their fish just is kind of lethargic and it's not swimming anymore. Or they'll say they won't eat. And that bothered me. And when you ask them, like, what's your ammonia, nitrate, nitrite, what's your substrate, do you have any new plants or fish in the aquarium, what was their quarantine period like, have you treated them, they'll give you an answer, and usually they don't even know what the ammonia and, that stuff is, because they don't realize they have to test it. And then you have people that you ask them, the big question, how many water changes do you do and how much? And they'll be like, water changes? What? And that surprised me more than it should. I've been fish keeping 18 years, and if there's one thing I always knew, it was that you have to change their water. I guess I just thought that everybody knows that, and that is not the case. And it's quite sad, actually, because they don't understand that, when you try to explain to them that their fish is sick because they have poor water quality, they don't understand. They're like, but it's just, it's been like that for years or whatever. And I'm like, I don't even know how the fish is alive, first of all. And then some people will tell you, I just add more water when it evaporates. That irks me to kingdom come, because you just don't do it. And that's the reason I was making the video. If someone else on the Goldfish forum mentions it, I think I'm just going to show them this video, because I want them to not feel like they're stupid or something. I want them to learn and to understand what's best for their fish. That's the only reason I have this channel. It's not because I just, love to talk. Well, that might be it, but no, I'm just kidding. It's not just because I have all the time in the world to make these, because I don't. It's because, I want to try to help other fish keepers that, don't know as much as me, or maybe don't have the resources to understand their fish. And when you talk about water changes, most people don't even understand, that you have to do them, like I said, and that should be the number one thing that should be told to you when you go buy a fish. But pet stores don't tell you that, and if they tell you anything, they'll probably just tell you, change half the water like once a month. No, no, no. That's very incorrect, and it's not really the pet store. It's not the employee's fault because they don't know. They should be, trained in what they're doing, but it's usually, teenagers or, college kids that's just trying to pay their way through school, and they don't know anything about what they're selling. And as much as my family says that I should work in a pet store, I don't, because it just makes me sad. I can't. If I worked in a pet store, I'd want to bring all the fish home with me, and I can't do that. I've already got yelled at because I bought 2 aquariums and I was only going to get 1. So, I just can't do that. And plus, I'm in school and I'm a nurse, so that doesn't give me that much time anyway. So the reason that you need to do water changes is because your fish live in the water, and they create waste in the water, they breathe, you got all this stuff that accumulates in the water that you need to remove because it becomes extremely toxic for the fish. If you were to go into a smoke-filled room, you're going to have a hard time functioning, and that's kind of the way they are with, toxicity in the water. With when a fish breathes and produces waste, all that gets excreted and produces ammonia, which is very toxic to fish. And that's why on the Goldfish Forum we always ask you, what's your ammonia, because that alone can make your fish very ill and not act as the owner would claim as normal for them. And ammonia is sometimes can be deadly for the fish if you don't continue the water changes. When you have beneficial bacteria in your aquarium, that breaks down the ammonia into nitrite, which is still harmful for fish, and then it breaks it down again. Another bacteria breaks it down again into nitrate. That's the 3 toxic things that you tend to measure in your aquarium. And some people don't understand that you need to measure those, because when a fish becomes sick, you feel very helpless because you can't take them, to the vet and, say what's wrong. It's very hard to treat a fish or to even figure out why it's acting the way it is. And that's why I love the Goldfish Forum, because we try to help you in the best way that we can. And some people don't, they get very frustrated when we tell them to go out and purchase the API Freshwater Master Kit, which I will link below, to test their water, and they don't understand why they have to spend more money. And I don't know who told them that fish keeping was cheap, because it's not. It's more expensive, I think, than having a cat or a dog, because I spend way more money on these fish than I do my cats. And, which sounds horrible, but anybody that has fish knows that's true. Then when we do succeed in getting them to purchase the kit, they'll tell us these measurements, and they're outrageous, and they're, no wonder the fish is sick, and they don't necessarily understand what the readings mean. And then we have to explain to them, your fish is sick because of your water. You don't need to run out and buy antibiotics. You don't need to treat them. You need to change their water. And they think that's silly because they think their fish is acting this way because they have an infection, which sometimes is true, but I have found that 90% of the time the fish is sick because of the water. And that's one thing that you just have to keep up with. I currently, well, now I have 6 aquariums. And every time I buy a fish, I have to, take responsibility for them and their water. And it's more water and more water and more water. And you have to. And then when people, when we talk them into changing their water, they'll ask us how much they should change. And that kind of depends on how many fish you have and how many gallons of water they have. Because, I change, my 60 gallon that has the 4 fish in it, it gets changed once a week, 80%. That's the way it's always been. Of course, it is cycled, so there's plenty of bacteria in there that, keep ammonia, nitrate down, and I don't have to worry about it generally. So they get changed 80% weekly. The butterflies just finished cycling that 60 gallon, and I've been doing them about twice a week right now, just to stay on the safe side, because I was doing it every single day. And, they are doing fine, and probably next week I will start them on the once per week schedule. The tetras, they can go 2 weeks, and they're fine. My betta fish, he can go once a week, but I generally do twice a week just because he's in a smaller aquarium. We generally will tell them if it's really outrageous, do 100% water change now, and then, do a 50% every day until your ammonia and all of those are 0. And then once, we'll find that once they do that, and their fish starts acting better, they'll come back a month later and say the same thing, my fish is sick again. And the first thing I ask them is, did you continue doing the water changes? And they're like, no, was I supposed to? Yes, you are. You need to keep up with those. It really depends on the fish as well. How much can they tolerate? What makes them sick? And what makes them, feel lethargic. It's all about the fish. You are slaves to the fish. That's what it feels like. And, experienced fish keepers will tell you that. They're always doing something with fish. I am always doing something with the fish. My parents, when they come home from work, as soon as they come in, they're like, what's Cheyenne doing? Is she working with those fish today? Or she changing water? They just think it's funny because I do that a lot. But they understand that my fish are very healthy and they're happy, and that's why. So water changes are the livelihood of your fish, and you have to do them. Please do not go buy a fish and not do water changes. Don't even buy it if you're not going to take care of it, because water changes are so important to the fish. You're basically, in my eyes, you're abusing the animal because you're not taking care of it properly when you do that. And, some people may disagree with that, but, there's all this animal abuse, but with dogs and cats, and you never hear about fish. And it's, I think, more common than dogs and cats, because it's mostly people that are uneducated. And that's what I'm trying so hard to help you with, is that, you have to change the water. Please change the water. I feel like I'm begging you, and I shouldn't have to beg you. It's just better on the fish, and you will see such a difference in them when they're happy. And I can tell if your fish starts acting off, or they're not eating as much as they usually do or something. 9 times out of 10, all you gotta do is change their water and they'll perk right up. I did it the other day. One of my butterflies was kind of staying in the bottom. She wasn't, really eating as much as she normally was. And I was curious because, all my readings were good and all the other fish were fine, they seemed like anyway. And so I went ahead, I did an 80% water change. It had been, I think, 4 days since I did one. I did that and she was, swimming all over the place and coming up and kissing my hand, and she was fine. And that's the things that, are easily fixed. And it's easier to do a water change than to go out and treat them with some medication that they don't need. Just change the water, please. Just change the water. They'll be good. If you change the water and they're not perking up, then something else may be wrong. And the goldfish community, we're more than happy to help you in any way that we can. We have been there and done that. I remember the first time I had a sick fish, I had no idea what was wrong with him. It scared me. I was on the laptop trying to figure out what was wrong. I was Googling his symptoms, and thankfully somebody on my Instagram helped me with that, because I had never seen anything like it and I didn't know what to do. He did end up needing medicated, but that's what we're here for. We try to help and we want to help, and we've all felt helpless, and I think that's what makes us such a good community, is because we really want all of everybody's fish to do well, because they're our little babies. And everybody on Instagram calls them water babies, I've noticed, or water piggies. I've never heard that before I went on Instagram. I've never heard anybody say that. I always called them my kids, but I never called them like the water babies or the water dogs or like anything like that. And I've learned that through them. But it's true, they are water pigs and they eat all the time. And they are the kids. They're their family. And I have 21 of them and still going. So eventually I'm going to have to stop because I'm running out of room in this house. And my parents are getting frustrated with my fish obsession. They told me I needed to go to a rehab for fish obsessions, but they were joking, thankfully. At least I have something that makes me happy, and when you're in nursing school, super stressful, and they keep me centered, and I love them for it. So the main thing about this video was do your water changes, and I think the next video I might do one, the things that I got off Petco. I'll let you see the aquarium, and we'll go from there. So of course, when I do get my fish, I will do an unboxing video. That'll be fun. I've never done one, so I'm excited about that. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it helped you, and I'll see you next time.